The beast barges in through the door. It is terrifying. Fighter, no! It smacks the fighter as he charges in. Fighter goes flying across the room and hits into the wall. No! Don't worry, wizard! Yeah! I've got this. We're saved! Oh! What the f? So before we get into the video, I have really exciting news. The Kickstarter for this project is launching in just 4 days. On September the 24th, we'll be opening this Kickstarter and actually making this project go live. It's so exciting. I've been working on this personally for over 2 years now, and we've had the entire team on it for about a year. So to finally see this come to life is something I've been anticipating for a long time, and I really hope it succeeds. So when you're done with this video, if you could go check that out, it would mean the world to me, and you could actually be a part of this project, knowing that you're the reason that there's going to be so much more fun out there in the world. So in D&D, there isn't really any class that plays out the fantasy of that self-sacrifice that I know a lot of people want to do. They want to have that massive power at that cost. But in the core rules, there's no real way to do that. I know that Critical Role is pretty massive and most people know about the Blood Hunter, and a lot of people really enjoy it. I love that class personally, but it is third party, which means it won't be accepted at every game table. But even if it is accepted at your table, it is a half caster, which means that you're expected to be pulling off a frontline main fighter that will be taking a lot of damage whilst having spells in your back pocket. And that kind of position means that the self-sacrificing, HP reduction is going to be very difficult to pull off, because realistically, you're either not going to be using your abilities at all, or you're going to be making death saves by round 2. Part of the main reason for this is the real restrictiveness of the class system in D&D. Your HP is completely tied to the class you're playing, which means as a Blood Hunter, you'll only ever get 1d10 HP per level. In Grit and Glory, we have completely different talent systems that have nothing to do with your HP and how you build. So you can totally build a really beefy, tanky blood sacrificing mage, right? But that's just not possible in D&D. The reason they couldn't do this is because a barbarian is the only class that gets a d12 hit dice, and they really didn't want to be stepping on their toes.
You won't even notice me here.
Okay, but you're standing on my foot.
Oh.
So how does being a blood mage work in Grit and Glory? Well, like I said, we have a lot of talent trees, and you can read a lot more about them in this video here. But for this purposes, I will talk about the blood mage talent tree, which at its most basic is a way to sacrifice a small amount of HP to guarantee success on things like spell casts, making an attack a critical hit, or other small basic effects like that, if you just dip your toes in the water. But if you deep dive and go fully down into that tree, down into the dark territory of blood magic, well, what they say is that blood magic is
a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
From blood bonds that tie you and another creature together permanently, allowing you to know their location, even feel what they feel, and communicate telepathically, to curses that are creative and can range from anything your mind can come up with. Whether that's plagues and boils or cursing their bloodline to the 10th generation, whatever you want to do, that is a form of blood magic, and you can create it in your own cool and unique ways. But don't worry, it can also be used to fulfill your necromancy dreams of being a cult leader that you've always wanted to be. But I ask you, why stop there? Why just be a cult leader? Why not take the crown jewel of blood magic, of necromancy? Why not become a lich? Yes, in Grit and Glory with blood magic, you can actually become a lich. You can achieve lichdom. Now, obviously, we did want to keep this somewhat mysterious and shrouded as it should be. It's quite a fun game mechanic, and you don't realistically want it to be completely outlined, but we have set up actual mechanical milestones for your PC to reach to get tangibly closer to their goal. And we've left a little bit of room there for the GM to fiddle around and make it fit their world and their story. But what if that isn't the path for you? What if you don't want to go down spellcasting, but instead want to talk about that blood hunter we mentioned earlier? Yes, in Grit and Glory, we have a war mage talent tree, obviously connecting from martials and spellcasting. And we definitely have a blood magic tree off of that as well. So you can fulfill your Witcher fantasies, going through and performing these dark rituals, hunting monsters, or even just being a badass mage in the middle of battle with a sword that siphons the blood from your enemies. Or perhaps abilities like hemorrhage, where you literally draw the blood up through their guts, making them puke and vomit blood in front of you. It's disgusting, I know, but it's cool at the same time. And because we aren't held to the rigid class standards of D&D, this means that you're not a half caster if you do this. You can choose how much into spellcasting and how much into martial fighting you want to delve into. The freedom is yours. Now, of course, using blood magic isn't all fun and games. When you do, you have to make a blood magic test. Now, if you succeed, you just lose a little bit of HP and you become blood marked. That's a unique condition for blood magic. It's nothing too big of a deal. But if you fail, you don't just lose a little bit of HP. No, your actual body stat itself is reduced. This means that your tangible essence of being, your strength, is falling apart. You are getting closer to death, as you should be. You'll treat this less like a resource management and more like you're messing with forces beyond your control, because that's what you're actually doing. Now, of course, there is a way around this. As many cult leaders, possibly the ones you fought in your own D&D campaigns, have realized, sacrificing doesn't always have to come from you. You can always sacrifice the HP of someone else or something else if you're a bit more moral. And with that kind of tempting power, even if they do die, doesn't really affect you all that much. So it's going to make your players a lot more reckless and a lot more willing to go above and beyond what they probably would risk on themselves. I assure you, if you put this into your games, you will see how truly evil your players can be in the game world. So in Grit and Glory, blood magic is far more than just a prick to the finger for a little +1 to your attack roll. It is you sacrificing your health, your body, your soul, your very dignity, and probably all of your morals as well, to gain ultimate power. Abilities that would make people like Melisandre quiver in her boots. So if you're ready to have some real power in your hands, it's time to play Grit and Glory. So now that video is over, I really want to reiterate what I said earlier about the Kickstarter. It's going live in 4 days. So if you put a little notification, you check out the link below, it'll take you there so you'll get reminded when it goes around. And you know, this might be a little bit shameful for me to ask, but if you share it with any of your friends that you think know about it, if you're a GM and you want to experience some new system and you can't find a way to get your players to stop playing D&D, maybe this is a perfect opportunity. So yeah, go check that out, get notified when it launches, and help make this game a reality.